Darkness. Poem by Lord Byron. I had a dream, which was not at all a dream. The bright sun was extinguished, and the stars did wander darkling in the eternal space, rayless and pathless. And the icy earth swung blind and blackening in the moonless air. Morn came and brought no day. And men forgot their passions in the dread of this their desolation, and all hearts were chilled into a selfish prayer for light. And they did live by watchfires and the thrones, the palaces of crowned kings, the huts, the habitations of all things which dwell were burned for beacons. Cities were consumed, and men were gathered round their blazing homes to look once more into each other's face. Happy were those who dwelt within the eye of the volcanoes and their mountain torch. A fearful hope was all the world contained. Forests were set on fire, but hour by hour they fell and faded, and the crackling trunks extinguished with a crash, and all was black. The brows of men by the despairing light wore an unearthly aspect, as by fits the flashes fell upon them. Some lay down and hid their eyes and wept, and some did rest, their chins upon their clenched hands and smiled. And others hurried to and fro, and fed their funeral piles with fuel, and looked up with mad disquietude on the dull sky. The pall of a past world, and then again with curses cast them down upon the dust, and gnashed their teeth and howled. The wild birds shrieked, and terrified did flutter on the ground and flap their useless wings. The wildest brutes came tame and tremulous, and vipers crawled and twinned themselves among the multitude. Hissing, but stingless, they were slain for food, and war, which for a moment was no more, did glut himself again. A meal was bought with blood, and each sate sullenly apart, gorging himself in gloom. No love was left. All earth was but one thought, and that was death, immediate and inglorious, and the pang of famine fed upon all entrails. Men died, and their bones were tombless as their flesh. The meager by the meager were devoured. Even dogs assailed their masters, all save one. And he was faithful to a course, and kept the birds and bees and famished men at bay, till hunger clung them o'er the dropping dead, lurked their lang jaws. Himself sought out no food, but with a piteous and perpetual moan, and a quick desolate cry, licking the hand, which answered not with a caress, he died. The crowd was famished by degrees, but two of an enormous city did survive, and they were enemies. They met beside the dying embers of an altar place where had been heaped a mass of holy things for an unholy usage. They racked up, and shivering scrapped with their cold skeleton hands. The feeble ashes and their feeble breath blew for a little life and made a flame, which was a mockery. Then they lifted up their eyes as it grew lighter, and beheld each other's aspects, saw and shrieked and died. Even of their mutual hideousness they died, and knowing who he was upon, whose brow famine had written fiend, the world was void. The populous and the powerful was a lump, seasonless, herbless, treeless, manless, lifeless, a lump of death, chaos of hard clay. The rivers, lakes, and ocean all stood still, and nothing stirred within their silent depths. Ships sailorless lay rotting on the sea, and their masts fell down piecemeal as they dropped. They slept on the abyss without a surge. The waves were dead, the tides were in their grave. The moon, their mistress, had expired before. The winds were withered in the stagnant air, and the clouds perished. Darkness had no need of aid from them. She was the universe. Darkness is a powerful and apocalyptic poem written by Lord Byron in July 1816. The poem reflects the anxiety and uncertainty of the time, particularly due to the eruption of Mount Tambora in 1815, which caused a year without a summer due to the volcanic ash that blocked out the sun. This natural disaster led to widespread crop failures and a sense of doom across Europe, which is echoed in the poem. The poem is written in blank verse, which is unrhymed, iambic pentameter, and it presents a bleak vision of the end of the world. Byron imagines a scenario where the sun is extinguished and humanity is plunged into perpetual darkness. The poem depicts the collapse of civilization, the breakdown of human relationships, and the ultimate extinction of life on earth. The poem begins with the speaker recounting a dream that feels more like a prophetic vision than a mere nightmare. The sun, the primary source of light and life, has been extinguished, leading to total darkness. The stars, usually fixed points of light and guidance, now wander aimlessly in space, emphasizing the chaos and loss of order. The earth, without the warmth and light of the sun, becomes cold and desolate, swinging blindly through space without the moon's reflective light to guide it. In this new world without daylight, the natural cycle of day and night is disrupted, leading to a perpetual state of fear and dread. The fear of darkness overpowers all human emotions, even love and hate. People no longer care about their usual passions and ambitions. Instead, they become consumed by the desperate need for light. This desperation leads them to burn everything around them, from royal palaces to humble huts, just to create some light and warmth. The image of people huddling around fires, looking into each other's faces, underscores the loneliness and despair of the situation. Byron suggests that those who lived near volcanic eruptions might have been happy in their ability to see some light, even though it came from such a destructive force. However, this light is only temporary, and as the fires burn out, darkness returns. The imagery of burning forests and the subsequent silence they extinguish emphasizes the finality of the destruction. The faces of people, illuminated only by fleeting bursts of fire, appear ghostly and unearthly. The range of human responses to this apocalypse varies from despair and weeping to a strange, resigned smile, suggesting a breakdown in their ability to cope with the horror. The poem then takes a darker turn, portraying the utter collapse of morality and humanity. As resources become scarce, people turn to cannibalism. Even animals such as dogs turn against their masters. Though Byron poignantly describes one faithful dog who remains loyal to its dead owner until it too succumbs to hunger. The image of two survivors from a once great city reduced to skeletons meeting over the dying embers of a sacred fire is particularly haunting. Their desperate attempt to rekindle a flame is futile, and when they finally see each other in the dim light, the horror of their situation overwhelms them and they die. The poem concludes with the total annihilation of the world. The earth is now a lump of death, devoid of all life, vegetation, and movement. Rivers, lakes, and oceans are frozen in place, and ships decay in the stagnant waters. The moon, which controls the tides, has already perished, and the winds are no longer blowing. In this lifeless world, darkness reigns supreme. The final line: darkness had no need of aid from them, she was the universe, suggests that darkness has become the dominant force, replacing the natural order of the universe. So, to conclude, darkness is a grim and haunting vision of the end of the world, one that reflects Lord Byron's pessimistic view of humanity and its place in the universe. The poem is a powerful meditation on the themes of destruction, despair, and the limits of human civilization. Through vivid imagery and a bleak narrative, Byron captures a sense of impending doom that pervaded the early 19th century and continues to resonate with readers today. Thank you.